Greetings and welcome everybody to another Friday community class right here on the Green Art YouTubes. This week we are talking about something that I normally only get to bring up in the advanced classes over on the Green Art School and on Patreon, but I wanted to unpack it at least a little bit here because it's such a cool topic, and a lot of us want flag posts. We want markers of how far into the work we're getting, how we're excelling and succeeding. And for me personally, this is that. This is the thing that at the end of the day, when I think, what is my goal? What am I trying to do in all of this work? This is one of the top things that I like, right? So what we're chatting about today then is this concept of dual citizenship. And dual citizenship means that while we are human animals fully at home and part of the human experience, we work with the plants to gain deeper access into their world, right? We call the green realm, which is just one perspective of the other world. It runs parallel and concurrent to our world. It's here. It's just a different perspective. We want to have access to that space. The reason is that when we have this dual citizenship, we're able to move into the realm of the green, into the plant spirit world, the plant spirit kingdom, and gather wisdom, information, guidance, direction, and initiation, and bring that back into our world. We get to act as hedge crossers, as go-betweens, right, between the world of the human person and the world of the plant persons. So this is very important in the work that I do. In fact, for me, this is the goal, right? That the goal is to be able to have that access. So this dual citizenship then, it comes from hard-won work. We really have to show up and dedicate and invest so much of ourselves, because while we can have one-off experiences of moving by spirit into the other world, into the green world, and these beautiful communications with the roots of the plant spirits, when we come back through, that parting that we've made in the hedge, it closes back up, right? If we think about a hedgerow as kind of an imaginal separation between our world and the world of plants, and this is a symbolism that has been used in with the herb-wise folk since forever. What has to happen is very frequent crossing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, to kind of create a little path in the hedge, right? A little opening, which becomes our way in. And that is unique for everybody. There are many techniques that I teach to help lay that foundation down, but ultimately it's your little crossing spot. If you've ever lived near hedgerows or near meadows or farmland, you know that the animals will cross in certain ways, and they'll cross back and forth every day so many times that it starts to carve out a little line in the land, right? This is what we need to do. So I have a couple of steps. I call these the core steps of dual citizenship. There are, of course, an infinite myriad number of ways that we can cultivate dual citizenship, but these are the steps that I think will get somebody there, and they work for me and they work for people that I teach, so I want to share them with you. First, we cannot carry heavy loads through the hedge. Imagine trying to squeeze through hedges from one side to the other side with his backpacks full of stuff and things hanging off your clothes and weights on your shoulders. Very, very difficult, if not impossible. So when our heart is hardened, when it is like a brick wall or a stone wall, we cannot carry those stones through the hedge very easily. So we have to soften the heart. The heart is the liminal space within. It's the hedgerow within, right? So our internal liminality has to be soft if we're asking for the external liminality of the hedge, the hedge crossing to be soft as well, so we can get through. So the first step is to work on the self, to work on our own stuff, and ideally to do that with the support and guidance of the plants. Whether that's working on physical things that you need to work on, or mental, emotional things, or a spiritual or energetic, it doesn't matter. When we work with the plants and we get better, right, we become more ourselves, this makes it easier to cultivate dual citizenship. It allows our light to shine forth. But also, as we witness the miraculous ways in which plants work with the humans, right? When we see how they show up for us and the beauty of how they heal and the sometimes wild ways that they work with us to become more ourselves, there's no way we can see that in ourselves and in other people and not be softened, right? It's impossible. So just witnessing the herbs do what they do, the herbs express their virtues, will soften the heart. And this makes it easier for us. Soft heart, soft hedge. Hard heart, hard hedge, right? So we should always be trying to mirror. This should be the sentiment. In that process, we will come into casual, loose relationships with many plants. We'll meet 4 or 5 plants along the way who help us heal. We'll know them beyond the books. We'll know them beyond this herb is good for these 10 things, period, right? We'll know something about their spirit, something about how they feel, something about who they are. So we know 4 or 5 this way. And maybe we'll know 4 or 5 that we've met who grow wild and native where we live. They always show up. They're part of the landscape, the sacred cycles of where we live. So we learn about them and sit with them and learn from them. And maybe we learn from 5 or 6 from the folklore, from plants that are part of our ancestral traditions, or plants that were sacred to our herb-wise ancestors, or a particular spiritual path we follow. And we sit with them and we go deeper than the books and we learn something about them. And now we have this repertoire of 15 or 20 plants that we know beyond the book, right? We know something about them. We understand something about them. And more than that, we're connected to them. And that line of connection may be thin, but it's there. And this is important because as we have this collective of plants, they're able to kind of tug on those threads whenever it's the right time for them to come into a situation. But also, 1 or 2 or sometimes 3 of them for a long time, maybe life, or for a short time, maybe a season, can stand up as allies to us personally, as familiar spirits, and they will step up as guardians, as guides, mentors, teachers, and initiators into the ways, right? So we move from healing ourselves, learning many herbs through that process, and then having 1 or 2 or 3 herbs really kind of rise to the surface as being incredibly important to us. Maybe they're plants that challenge us, and that's why we love them. Maybe they're plants that feel like home for us, and that's why we love them. There's a big spectrum and nuance, it doesn't matter. And what happens is these plants become our familiar spirits, our allied spirits, and they become our teachers. And these individual plants, let's say 1 plant, is able to teach us about the ways of the green. They can teach us about the green realm, about the green mysteries, about the ways and mysteries of the plants. They can give us access to this whole world. They can even point us in the direction of other plants to work with, or help ease the relationship with other plants. Having these close devotional sorcerous connections is knowing someone on the other side. So when we move into those spaces, we come in with native beings from that space, right? We walk in with a plant spirit standing at our shoulder who says, yeah, this guy's okay, and suddenly the work becomes something different, right? It's less of an uphill battle. It's still work, but it's different. So we have these initiators, and these plants, plants start teaching us. And as they do that, we spend more and more time engaged with the perspective of the plants, the green realm, which is just one angle of the other world, which exists here and now, right with us. It's not somewhere else, it's here, right? The other world exists where we are. The plants teach us that, right? They're here. There are aspects of them that are hidden and concealed, symbolized by the roots that go into the dark earth below, but they are still fully present here. Deeper plant spirit work is about engaging with the roots of the plants, right? Their hidden aspect, but that's not for here. So we get this back and forth, and we learn, and what ends up happening as this path unfurls, as the fern medicine activates, and just we get that Every 10 steps we take, we can see the next 10 steps and the next 10 steps. This is fern medicine. We start to feel more comfortable physically connecting to plants and being in plant spaces, whether it's garden or forest. And we also start to feel more comfortable journeying by spirit into the green realm, journeying into the root world, into the other world of the plant spirits, into their spiritual realm, right? And we feel comfortable and confident there. We feel safe and welcome. And that's one side of the coin. And the other side of the coin is the plants themselves and their guardians and the inhabitants of that world also start to welcome us. They start to recognize us and respect us and see us and say, hey, that person comes in with respect. They honor the old ways. They acknowledge the taboos. They don't leave this place a mess. They clean up after themselves, literally, figuratively, right? And they start giving us deeper and deeper and deeper access into their world. And before we know it, we're able to move back and forth effortlessly with very little pomp and circumstance and almost no externalized ritual between the human world and the plant world, to learn from the plants, to gather wisdom and guidance from them and bring it back to our world. For what purpose? In service of harmony, to create harmony within ourselves, to create harmony with the people that we serve, to create harmony in our communities, and for the land and the earth that we live on, and for the world as a whole, right? No one person, place or thing or idea can be harmonized without affecting the fullness, right? Nothing happens in a vacuum in this reality that we live in. So then we become hedge crossers, right? We become those who are able to move from one perspective of reality into another to gather information and bring it back in service. And the flip side of that mystery is that we bring our opposable thumbs into the green realm and we can be of service to them as well. Humans have magic. We also have great things about us, right? Sometimes we forget that. When we get deeper into plant spirit work, we start being shown things that we can do to be of service to them. You know, I say, put your thumbs to work, right? Put your thumbs in it. And that's just me saying, use your humanness, right? What do you bring to adding harmony to their world, right? This is always an important thing, reciprocity. We never want any of this work to feel one-sided, like everything comes from them to us full stop, or that it feels transactional, that we do something for them so that they will do something for us, right? We follow the old axiom of do ut des, I give to you so that you may give to me, not so that you will give to me. It's a different sentiment, right? Very, very different. And when we move back and forth through the hedge this way, and we cultivate our dual citizenship, we start that flow of give and receive of reciprocity, and now we are living the living plant spirit path. This is very important. So just a few steps. Every culture, every tradition of plant spirit work, of working with the arcane persons of the plant spirits, has their own way of guiding people into dual citizenship, those who are called to be herbwise. This is just one way, and it's a way that I think are kind of core steps that have worked really well for me. They're ones 25 years in, I keep coming back to these simple things. Devote to the plants, listen to them, create these relationships of familiarity and allyship, and let them guide us further in, and we will be guided further in. So let me know what you think, thoughts, questions in the comments below. I love talking about this stuff with you guys. Take care. I'll see you next time.